Well, what in the world is Rob Manfred up to? What is this guy doing? Is he trying to ruin the game? He's making Bud Selig look like a really good commissioner. And what are the true A, B, and C options at third base? Let's talk about it right now.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of Locked On Astros. Look, I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. You know where to find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok, at Stros411 on X and on Facebook, and at Back to the Bullpen on X, on Instagram, also on iHeartRadio and YouTube. I'm always positive, always Stros. And by the way, that's Stros with a Z. So, hey, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Tonight I'm flying solo, and man, do I have a soapbox to jump on this evening. I am beside myself. Now, growing up, I was under the impression that Bud Selig was the worst commissioner that I had ever seen in my lifetime. I didn't think I would see a worse commissioner. Bud Selig extorted Jim Crane and the Astros whenever he bought the Astros. He basically was told, if you don't go to the American League, because my daughter in Milwaukee doesn't want to, if you don't go to the American League, then I'm not letting you buy the team. With that being said, oh my gosh, I cannot stand the fact that Rob Manfred continues to try to ruin this game. I don't know what this man's mission is, but didn't he announce his retirement was like 5 years ago or 5 years from now? What kind of announcement is that? All right. So the commissioner spoke on a podcast, I guess about a week or so ago. And of course, what does he say? There are a variety of rule change ideas that are being talked about out there. Okay, now hold on. Just like when the local authorities in Harris County told me, oh, guess what? We're going to build this toll road. And then when it's paid for, it will be free to travel. Nope. It's expensive as you know what. The toll road on 288, they just like doubled it. It's insane. So just like government and taxes, once they implement a tax, they're always going to go up. Once you let this guy implement more and more rules, it's just going to be ridiculous. Now, thank God the ghost runner rule doesn't apply in the playoffs, because that rule has got to go. They limit the amount of mound visits even more. They're trying to mess with the pitching, saying pitchers have to pitch 6 innings unless they're injured. What happens if a dude's just gassed? What happens if his arm is just like thrown out, right? It's just so bad. So this is what he said, okay? One of them, he said, the rules being bantered about, there was a little buzz around it at an owner's meeting, but it was the idea of the golden bat. Now, when I think of Rob Manfred, I think of Michael Scott. I'm sorry, Rob Manfred. You are the baseball's version of Michael Scott. And it reminds me of the golden ticket idea. If you're a fan of The Office, there was an episode where Michael Scott wanted to be like Willy Wonka, and he wanted to give out a golden ticket. And I think the golden ticket was like basically like free shipments. It was some ridiculous discount. Well, he sent like 3 or 4 golden tickets to the same company. The whole episode was about it was a bad idea, so he threw it off on Dwight. But then when the company liked the idea so much, they added to their contract. Then Michael said it was his idea. Rob Manfred, you're right. Big Boy says here, he says, this is just dumb. This is just dumb. Might be fun for something like the Savannah Bananas, but not actually a game of competition. It doesn't make any sense, y'all. And this is what the golden bat rule is. You're asking me, what's the golden bat rule? If you haven't read The Athletic, or if you're not on social media, okay, first off, now this is a little banter from The Athletic. Don't get it confused with the golden goose or the golden retriever or golden arches. It won't set up more like the golden arcs. That's what this is. This is McDowell's. This isn't even McDonald's. This is McDowell's from Coming to America. That's what this is. I get it now. It won't set you up for life, and it's not something you can turn in. Like, it's the golden bat rule. So right here, what is the golden bat? What if a team could choose one at bat in every game, not just playoffs, every game, to send its best hitter to the plate, even if it wasn't the guy's turn to hit? That's the golden bat concept in a nutshell, says the Athletic article. So they came up with a scenario that I had forgotten about because I watched the series, but I didn't watch it with a whole lot of like tuning into every single moment. But they made up this scenario. Say there were 2 outs in the 10th inning in October when the Yankees and Guardians were tied. Okay. But in the alternate October universe, it's just Juan Soto who is due up. I mean, it's not Juan Soto who's due up. It's Oswaldo Cabrera. Or let's say it's Jake Myers up, and it's the Astros versus the Yankees. Let's make this Astros friendly, okay? So let's say that Jake Myers is up. Then what do? Do they bat Jake Myers? No. They put Yordan Alvarez in his spot. Or actually, yeah, they put Yordan Alvarez in his spot. Because Jake Myers bats 9th. Yordan Alvarez comes up and hits a home run. Well, guess what? In Joe Espada's lineup, he's hitting 2nd. So Yordan Alvarez would bat again. Oh, God, Rob Manfred, what on earth are you doing? So they basically break down how this rule would work, and I'm glad the Athletic did it because I wouldn't have taken the time to do this. He said each team gets to pick one at bat at the point in any game, but only once. But only once. It doesn't make it any better. Who would you say that moment for? Tucker, Altuve, Alvarez. But they're saying they want it every game. It's really, no, this isn't a joke, Susan. Susan's like, I thought this was a joke. Yes, I did too. I had to confirm it. I had to go read that. I read this actual article that I'm kind of regurgitating to you. I'm paraphrasing it. If you're not a member of the Athletic, it's really not that it's really not that expensive. And they do have good articles. I don't agree with everything they write, but Chandler Rome is there and he does a phenomenal job. Okay. So you would save it for a strategic moment. Or there's this option. They say each team gets one golden at bat per game, except only in the 7th inning or later. Or this is a variation of the author of this article. And the author of this article is Jason Stark. Okay, we know Jason Stark, pretty popular guy, does some cool podcasts. This is what he says. He would vote where only a team that is trailing or tied in the 9th or later gets to use the golden at bat. I'm a fan of less is more. 2 golden at bats every game is ridiculous. I agree with that. Or can you imagine the Royals using their golden at bat and let Bobby Witt Jr. lead off the 9th? Then he makes an out. Then guess who's batting 2nd? Bobby Witt Jr. He bats again, kind of like the Yordan Alvarez scenario. Now, it's fun to think about, but this isn't the Savannah Bananas or this other new thing that's coming to, I forget what it's called. It's all neon baseball. It's in the dark. Everything's lit up. The baseball's neon. The uniforms are neon and everything's under black light. And it's this new type of, it's kind of like Savannah Bananas, but with black lights. But what is baseball doing? Baseball has lived on the organic moment, the clutch moment, the Tommy Edmonds, the Derek Fishers. I hate to say it, the Howie Kendricks. I mean, the Marwin Gonzalez. Like, if you have the golden bat and you don't let Marwin Gonzalez bat when he hits a home run, okay, in game 2. I mean, what happens if your golden at bat is a strikeout? Like, are we trying to create a fake game? Because already it's going in that direction. already it's going in a direction that I don't like. None of y'all like it. It is absolutely absurd. I just don't like what Rob Manfred's trying to do to this game. Well, we'll talk about this a little bit more, and we'll talk about some free agents and like where they're going here next after we hear about Game Time. Go to Game Time today, download the Game Time app, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. I've told you about Game Time over and over again. I promise you, I know some of y'all have used it because you've actually told me through social media. Thank you for Game Time. Thank you for the code, and I'll give you that code at the end of this commercial. Last-minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, easy to find and buy MLB tickets to every kind of event in your area. Views from all seats in the venue that you're going to, lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, so much more. You've got to go download the app today. It's Game Time. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. All right, thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. Go to Locked On MLB, make it your second listen. After you make Locked On Astros your first listen, remember we are your team every single day. Look, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for subscribing to us. Thank you for watching us. We appreciate you so much. So at the end of the day, it comes down to this. Rob Manfred couldn't retire soon enough. Now, this guy is killing me. This guy is a buzz kill. And so without further ado, like, I don't want to go further into my not hatred, but I strongly dislike this man. I think he's a terrible commissioner. I think he thinks it's a joke. I think he's treating it like a video game. A golden bat? What are we going to start? Our team's going to start like picking like virtual packs just come on, man. What are we doing? Okay. So news around the league. Okay. We are looking at the infield market. Obviously, we're going to get to Adames. We're going to get to Bregman, and we're going to get to Jorge Polanco and the Astros option. So we'll get to that a little bit later. There is talk about moving Rafael Devers from third base to first base, and the Red Sox possibly trading for Nolan Arenado. That would take away Nolan Arenado if the Astros had him as an option. He's not really been listed as an option for the Astros. So we got him. The starting pitching market, we saw that I believe Sean Manaea is out there. Jack Flaherty is out there. Max Fried, we haven't heard anything in the way of those guys. The Soto saga continues, and it's really up to 3 or 4 teams. You have the Red Sox, which I think he's going to the Red Sox. You have the Mets. The Blue Jays are sneaking into the conversation. The Yankees. But here's the problem with the Yankees and Juan Soto is the Yankees are said to believe to only be offering $550 million. And I believe the Red Sox, the Mets, and the Blue Jays are believed to have offered Juan Soto $600+ million. That is an insane amount of money for one player. And so I guess we'll have to see. The Diamondbacks want Joc Pederson back. He's a good complementary player. So it looks like he may be staying in Arizona. The Cubs have a lot of directions they could go. The Phillies are still shopping Alec Boehm to try to get him traded. The Mariners believe that they're handling their second base issue internally, so they're not going anywhere for a second baseman. Then you got Carlos Santana and Justin Turner, 39 for Santana, the age of 40 for Turner. We'll see where they go, if they go anywhere. Tyler Mahle, he's coming off Tommy John surgery. He was expected to be out for expected to be out for most of 2024. And so there are a lot of people out there. There are a lot of things on the table to see like who's getting who. I know Clay Holmes is being looked at by multiple teams. Luis Severino's been mentioned on the show. Where does he go? So Luis Robert Jr., what is his trade value? That's what people are trying to figure out. What are the Royals going to do? Soroka, where's he going? And so it's just, there are so many things that can be talked about before we get there. Clay Holmes began his career with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's now the closer for the Yankees. Okay. Former closer Clay Holmes started in 2018 there. And so you've got him. He's out there on the mound. The Royals may be looking for pitching. They've already traded for infielder Jonathan India. The trade value for Luis Robert Jr., some people have mentioned him coming here, but I think it's way too much risk than it is reward. And I don't know that you're going to get out of him what you want. Soroka, 27, is an interesting upside play for teams looking for value in the market. So he's a guy that could go somewhere. If the Astros want to trade for someone like that, they could. They haven't been named to any trades. And so there's just a plethora of moves that could be made out there. I hear rumors of Goldschmidt. Well, yeah. So Eric has talked about Goldschmidt for a while. I'm just not buying the Astros going with Goldschmidt. And here are the three names. And of course, if you saw the title slide, you would know who they are. And I've got a side-by-side comparison of them for the last two seasons and last season. And I'm going to show you all that. We're going to start with the first one I'm going to show you is the 2023 and the 2024 season combined of the three men that the Astros say are telling Ken Rosenthal or telling Chandler Rome and the others that these are their three targets. Number one, option A is Alex Bregman. And if you look at this right here for the last 2 years, Alex Bregman has a higher WAR by 3 points over Willie Adames. He has more hits. He has 5 less home runs. He has 19 less RBI, 20 less stolen bases, but hits for a higher average on base percentage, slugging, OPS, and OPS plus. 120, Willie Adames 106. And if you're listening, you have Alex Bregman in the 23 to 24 season, both seasons combined. Alex Bregman with the 9 WAR, Willie Adames with the 6.1 WAR, and then you have Jorge Polanco with the 3.3 WAR. Now, why are the Astros looking at such a far-ranging group of men to man third base? Well, number one, it means that they probably don't have a whole lot of confidence in what they have in-house. And even though I think ultimately if they don't want to spend the money, why not go in-house? Why not let your young guys, why not let your stronger, younger guys get stronger and better on the field? Throw 2025 into the wind, and hopefully you get something back. What's funny is, and, good for him. We've got a new Locked On A's host, and he is a diehard guy. He said he's been a fan since 1981, and oh my gosh, his name slips me, and I apologize if he listens to this, but he predicts the A's to be the AL West division champs in 2025. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being an optimist, right? Yes, Uncle Ted, Bryce Matthews is a beast, but he is not ready. Everyone I talk to with the Astros, whether it's the scouting department or people who evaluate minor leagues, Bryce is not ready. He's just not there yet. It's just too soon. Okay. Now, we know Alex Bregman is option A. Let's look at this last year and see what the difference was from this last year and see how they compare. So just 2024. Look at this. Alex Bregman did have the highest WAR at 4.1. Jorge Polanco, a measly 1.4. Willie Adames, 3.1. But in games played appearances, hits, home runs, RBI, and stolen bases, Willie Adames tops Bregman on all those. Batting average, 9 points lower. On base percentage, higher this year. Slugging percentage, higher this year. OPS, 30 points higher this year, 26 points higher this year, whatever it is. OPS plus, exactly the same, 118 plus, 118 for both of them. Jorge Polanco, 93. Jorge Polanco, 16 home runs. Alex Bregman, 26 home runs. Willie Adames, 32 home runs. RBI, 112 RBI, 75 for Bregman. So this is so I feel like my mind shifts every day. I feel like I can't make my mind up. I can see when my friends talk to me about, those who evaluate the minors, they talk about, well, the Astros might just go with the young guys. You got to see what they got eventually. They might just go with them, just roll with them. You got other big players. Hopefully Pena has a good, solid year. You got Diaz behind the plate, supposed to have a good, solid year offensively. Altuve, Tucker, who knows what they're going to do in center field. Maybe Jacob Melton comes up and runs for Rookie of the Year. Mauricio Dubon's going to be all over the field. Hopefully he hits well. And so you have all these factors going in. But at the end of the day, if you don't sign Bregman, and I do really agree with Chandler Rome here, it is going to look bad, I think, to the fan base if they sign Willie Adames to a large contract, but they don't give Bregman a large contract. I'm wondering if you could give Adames less than what you were going to offer Bregman and if Adames would take it. Okay. So with that being said, let's go and talk about our friends at FanDuel, and let's talk about America's #1 sportsbook. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Get into the action right now. And when you bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets. If you win, the FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need in one place to do live bets with the NFL. Look, you don't have to go to 8 different websites. Right in the middle of the game, let's say you get a hunch. Let's say you're checking the stats. You're viewing play-by-play. So much more. All in the same place that you place your bets. And you're like, you know what? I need to sign up for FanDuel. So you go to FanDuel, you join, you get started, you get $150 in bonus bets. How? I'm glad you asked. If you win your first $5 bet. Just a $5 bet. You don't have to put down 50 or 100 or 1,000. $5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 singles. Throw it on there. Bet in the Texans' favor this next week. If they win, $150 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And again, thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. You know where to find me. You know where to find the show. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. Thank you all for tuning in. Would Willie Adames take fewer years? Susan, that is a good question. I'm not sure what Willie Adames is going to be willing to take. If I go into my little SPO track, see what his, I guess, market value is. Once they give me a little bit of information here, I might be able to tell you. Let's see. He made $12 million last year. His market value is $25.4 million per year. 6 years, $152. 6 years, $152. So that would be $25 million. The Astros offered Bregman not much more. So I don't know if he would take fewer years. Let's see. What is his age? He's 29 years old. No, he probably wants a 7-year deal. He could fight for a 7-year deal. You give him 5, give him a 6-year player option. Okay. I don't know. I mean, this guy ranks up there with Correa, Swanson, Baez, Turner. And I mean, he's a little bit below some of those guys, but that's where his statistical comparisons are. So the base calculated value would be a 7-year contract worth about $188 million overall. I mean, look, if you're going to give him 26 plus a year, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you Willie Adames. Willie Adames is not bad. What are the stats between Bregman and Adames's career, between their whole career? You know what? That is a good question. And I can actually pull that up real quick because this is a great thing. You guys need to join StatHead. I'm telling you, it is so easy to look stuff up, and I will look up all seasons for these gentlemen. I'll actually make a copy of this graphic. And of course, I think Alex Bregman is probably going to have him beat because he has more years. Willie Adames came into the league 2018, Alex Bregman 2016. And so 2017 is really when he kind of, took off. But I will show you their comparison. It looks like Bregman outpaces this guy. He's got twice as much WAR over his career, and he's got a lot more awards, obviously. So that's actually a good question. Let me actually pull that up for y'all to see. And for those of y'all that are listening, I will share the stats with y'all. So I just took the career of Willie Adames and the career of Alex Bregman. How's that for not having a producer in the background? 39.6 WAR for Bregman, 4,800 plate appearances, 1,100 hits, 191 home runs, 663 RBI, 41 stolen bases, a 271 lifetime average, a 132 OPS plus, an 848 career OPS, 2 All-Stars, 2 titles, 1 Gold Glove, 1 Silver Slugger. No awards for Willie, a 21 WAR, almost 300 fewer at-bats, 1,000, a little bit more than 1,000 fewer plate appearances, about 300 less hits, 40 less home runs, 51 stolen bases, more than Bregman, but everything else is lower than Alex Bregman. His on-base percentage, his slugging percentage, his OPS and his OPS plus are significantly, they're not significantly lower. It's not a cliff. But if you were to take Jorge Polanco's career numbers, that would be a big drop off. But they have said plan A is Bregman. Plan A is Bregman. Then they've said plan B is Willie Adames. And they've been talking to both camps. And if that falls through, Jorge Polanco, why would they go get a Jorge Polanco? Well, the reason why they would do that is because Jorge Polanco is a veteran. Now, Uncle Ted is asking about Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers, that is an interesting name. I'm surprised that they haven't talked about him in relation to the Houston Astros, because he seems like someone you would want to look at, right? Let me see Brendan Rodgers' numbers. So Brendan Rodgers plays for the Colorado Rockies, or did he play second base? I don't think he's a third baseman. Okay. His market value is 5 years, $56 million. And it's showing him as a second baseman. Now, I haven't looked up his stats. I guess, are you talking about sliding him to third base? Let's see. Where has this cat played? Let's look at his defensive. Let's look at his fielding. Second base and shortstop. He's played for 6 years. He's played 411 games at second, 36 games at short. He's never played third. He has a Gold Glove in 22. He led the league in this. 22 was his best year, it looks like. That was his best year fielding. 22, he had a solid year at the plate, it looks like. 21, he actually batted higher. The guy hits home runs, not many. His on-base percentage, OPS plus, is under 100 for the most part, so that's probably why he's not one of their 3 options. But it's an interesting name to kick around. Look, you can't leave any stone unturned. Chris Morel, but he just got traded from the Cubs to the Rays. I don't think the Rays are going to give him up. But option A, again, is Bregman. Option B is Willie Adames. Option C is Jorge Polanco. And then we got this insanity from Robbie Manfred. What is this guy doing to our game? Like, do we just need to go back and show him all the moments that unsung heroes have had in the playoffs? Like, people that weren't supposed to contribute. I mean, you can't force runs across. You can't do it. It doesn't make any sense. But look, we got the winter meetings coming up soon. I hope you guys have been tuning in to the to my breaks. I'm breaking a pack a day. So far I've received a Gunnar Henderson. Okay. I've received 2 nice list Greg Olsons. I hope I get a nice list Astros at some point. Then I got Clayton Kershaw. I'll show you all that real quick. A little George Springer action. Okay. Ha-Sung Kim. Ketel Marte. Pretty cool cards. Matt McClain. I think I said McCain on the video. Curtis Mead. Till the Rays come get their guy. And Owen White. So there you go. And I will open up another pack for December 3rd tomorrow. No, those are not Chrome Update. These are the 2024 Topps Advent Calendar cards. It's a special edition card, and some people on here, someone told me on here, some card shark guy said that this was a junk pack thing that Topps did. But you know what? I love it. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. I've got to get out of here. I've got to run. Hey, I've got to go prepare for another basketball team. My team's got to go 3-0 this week. We got to win a game. We won our first 2. We're going for number 3. It doesn't tell our girls we're 0-0 this week. You know what? We are always 1-0 with y'all. Why? Because you give us the victory every single time. Thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. You know who I am. I'm H-Town Wellhouse. For myself and everybody at Locked On Astros, remember that we are your team every day. Y'all have a great one. It's December. Christmas is right around the corner. And Alex Bregman is going to be a Houston Astro. I'm calling it right now. Come on, Breggy. Come back home. We'll see you. I'm out.